What's up everybody, welcome to another episode of the greatest vlog in the world. My name is Jeff, your favorite tour guide in Madeira, and in today's video we are kickstarting with a sunrise here in Bica de Cana. It's looking absolutely stunning, and then after that we're going to talk about the Levadas in Madeira. I can't believe it's taken us so long to do this. So yeah, should be a great video. We're up, we're ready, let's enjoy the scenery, and then we're gonna get right into it. So we're at Bica de Cana. It's one of the highest points on the western side on the plateau. Behind us you can see one of the largest plateaus in Madeira, and the reason why I wanted to come here, not only is it an epic sunrise spot that's a little bit more quiet, it's a little bit more difficult to get to, mostly from Funchal, but if you're staying in places like Calheta and Ponta do Sol, then this is a great place to come up for a sunrise. Just a bonus tip for you guys. And yeah, there's not too many people here. There was a couple here when you got here, and then one or two other people arrived, but really there's less than 10 people here. So little tip for you guys. And basically when it comes to Levadas, a Levada is an irrigation system that we see all over Madeira, and it's basically like a canal system that transports water, and we're going to get into that all. But before we got into that, I wanted to talk about where the water comes from. So mostly we have groundwater up here, which is where all the rainwater that comes from. This is what traditional water that we know in the sense, not like underground water. So firstly, we've got this groundwater, the water that comes from the rainfall, and it kind of collects up here in the plateaus of the island, this one being the biggest. So this is kind of almost like a water basin kind of thing, where it collects water and then gets, flows to the rest of the island. But also, one of the reasons why I wanted to come here to Bica de Cana is because you can see more of the natural forest. So this is what we call the laurel silver forest. We got loads of laurel silver in Madeira. That's a whole nother story. And this plant over here, which I'm not sure, I know we've got two different types of heather in Madeira, and I can't always distinguish which one is which, to be honest, because I'm not doing this every day anymore. But we got the tree heather and the broom heather, and somebody can correct me in the comments if this is tree heather or broom heather. I wouldn't be able to tell you right now, but this plant is responsible for collecting what we call fog water. So water from the fog, water from the atmosphere, brings it into the laurel silver forest, into the ground, and that finds its way to our streams and all of that kind of stuff. I didn't study this stuff, right? I've been a tour guide for like 10 years. Everything I've learned is from talking to people and interacting with people. So if there's people out there that maybe know that something I say is not 100% correct, then go ahead and put it in the comments, right? I know there's smarter people than me watching this channel. So if you're a tour guide in Madeira and you want to correct me on anything, or you want to add anything, then please feel free to do that in the comments. Like, I'm a happy person, I'm not gonna stress too much about the hate. I'm used to it, I'm an influencer. Anyway, enough about this. Should we get some coffee?
Yes.
Let's get some coffee. This is my 2024 project, my secret weapon bag kind of thing, and it's filled with all my secret weapons. So I'm gonna take some of these things out and show you just one or two of these things. But basically this is what I'm working on now. So I got my camera, right, my 360 camera. We got my iPad in here, we'll take that out later. And what I love the most, coffee machine. We're gonna make some coffee. I can't remember how to use this.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, yeah. Because it knows there's no water. It knows there's no water, so it's beeping. Espresso.
What else?
Are you just George Clooney?
Not yet. I'm on the way there. I think I'm on the way there. I'm gonna be like a George Clooney, right? A younger. Does George Clooney have a younger wife? I did have to make a deal I did have to make a deal to get her here on sunrise. What was the deal, babe? Hey, you're not gonna say? Okay, you can guess what it is. Put it in the comments. Guess what the deal was that I made with Elisa Veronica, the Gouveia. Can you imagine our kids? They're gonna be like, and then they're gonna be real Portuguese kids. They have 20 names.
Yeah.
Nobleman name.
Noblemen's names, yeah, of course. I think it's about time to get the hoodie off. It's getting quite warm. It's a beautiful day. So the story continues. We are here at this relatively new viewpoint, which shows the new dam that they've built on the plateau. So remember, up here is where we get a lot of our rainfall, a lot of our water. So they're going to collect it here and take it down to the power station. So one of the three purposes of our levadas is to transport water for power, right? From the 60s onwards, they built, I believe it was something around 400 kilometers of levadas. Again, I stand to be corrected, but they built a long system of levadas to power hydroelectric power plants, right? So because we've got our main basin of water up above 1,000 meters and with big drops on the island, then they could find enough kind of energy on a big enough drop to create power, right? So over here, this dam was built to upgrade the power station in Keleta, which we're going to try and see in a bit. But this power station, this dam supplies more water to that particular power station, and I believe that this whole new construction gives us an extra 10% of hydroelectric power on Madeira. I have read in some places that our green energy can go up to 50% on the island, or at least that is the target. So I'm not sure if it's exactly there yet, but apparently this system accounts for 10%. The interesting thing is that there is also wind turbines up here. And when we don't have enough water or enough rainfall and we have wind power, they actually pump water back up to the top here so that we can start the process once more. So it's very well thought out and it's very well constructed. And basically that's another thing that I wanted to mention, is that also we don't have water throughout the whole year. So this fluctuates how much water we have on the island. In the summer months we have a little bit less water, and here's another pro tip, that if you're coming here for waterfalls and things like that, then you're going to get less water in the summer. So the off season is better for waterfall if you have that kind of luxury. Over here we have an example of the construction of these latest levadas. As you can tell, for those of you who know the levadas, these are a little bit wider, a little bit deeper. So usually the levadas don't get very, you know, they're maybe like 70 centimeters, 80 centimeters, traditional agricultural levadas. These ones are over a meter wide, over a meter deep. They're bigger and they're made of concrete as well. So we're going to get into the, you know, the smaller ones and what the agricultural ones are for. But I wanted to show you guys these and how they were built. And this, by the way, is Levada de Alecrim. It's actually a pity that we have this work to do on today, because I was actually quite enjoying walking on the Levada. I could walk this Levada for another 2 hours. I hope this video is actually making sense, you know, because I try to plan something for you, but I'm also very improvised, so it is what it is, all right? It's better to get it out there than to like be a perfectionist and never get anything out. All right, that's my theory, just get it out. Let's go today. Here's a prime example of how the water flows in Madeira. You can see that on the plateau, we've got the plateau like this, and then it goes down really quickly. In fact, Madeira is just the peak of a very large underground volcano. They say that Madeira, the island itself that we can see above water, is only 4% of the entire volcanic structure. So it's kind of like the tip of the iceberg. so to speak. You know, we can go into all the psychological stuff. How Madeira is just this little tip and everything is deeper. Anyway, we're not going to do that. But you can see here how the water flows off the sides. So whatever water doesn't go through the mountain, right, that goes through into the rock where it can, will flow through the sides. So we can see that that's where we get our streams, our waterfalls, and a lot of the Levadas collect the water by passing through these streams, through these waterfalls, through what you might call the Madre. In a lot of places is a stream where it's the mother of the source of the water. So that's what that is, but that's not what I came here to talk about. So follow me, we're going to show you something else. So this is more like a Levada in the traditional sense of the word. The first Levadas were made like this, a little bit smaller, a little bit shallower, and also so that the water didn't evaporate so much. If you've got a large surface of water over a large distance, just a little bit of evaporation is going to make a big difference. So this over here is the more traditional sense. The first Levada was built somewhere in the 15th century. I believe it was somewhere around the 1480s. I can't remember the story and I couldn't find it online, so I don't know where I read it, but I believe that it was the Levada de Santa Luzia in Funchal, which initially was made out of wood. So it was a wooden half pipe kind of thing that brought water down to the sugarcane fields in Funchal for the huge sugar exploration that we had in Funchal and in Madeira. So that's again a topic for another video, which we have somewhere on this channel already as well. And the first Levadas were actually privatized, right? So a lot of these Levadas started where people had springs on their private land. They would construct the Levadas down and then sell the water to farmers and to other people that had land to farm other things on, right? That's how it first kind of started. But then much later, they started actually kind of publicizing it. What's the word I'm looking for? The government got on board, started making it public access. We're going to talk about that next. So this for agriculture. So yeah, let's move on over here. Let me show you some more. And behind us is the Tunnel do Cavalo, I believe it's called. We'll check again. I did see it on the map on the way here, so I'm gonna lie a little bit. But we're gonna check exactly what it's called, but I think it's the Tunnel do Cavalo. And Lisa told me, remember Lisa was our hiking guide that hit the road. Lisa told me that this was because people used to ride horses through this tunnel, that's why. And you can tell it's very, very tall. This is one of the alternative entrances to 25 fontes, right? Or 25 fontes in Portuguese, which is the lagoon where all the people love to go to, all the tourists. You know, there's like 4 Levadas that everybody does, and that's one of them. So it's before 10 o'clock, so it's actually relatively quiet. We were the first ones here kind of thing. So another tip, if you want to do 25 fonts, you want to do it, you know, before or after the groups arrive. Somewhere in the 1800s, and this was the initiative, the first kind of like government initiative or public initiative to bring water down to agriculture for, you know, public use, so to speak. So I read that online yesterday. I didn't know that, to be honest. So just so you guys know. But lots of interesting information. I will share some links below. I'm writing a blog page about this whole thing. If you want to read up more on it, I'll share some links about where I got some of the information for this video. It's pretty big, eh? Oh, hello. Is anyone there? Andrea, I got the lights. I got the headlamps in the special bag. Hey, do you guys want to do it? She's saying no. No. Where do you want to go now? You want to go home? Princess wants to go home. Anyway, yeah, we're on a job. So, you know, if you want to do this, you can do this. So it is in fact Tunnel do Cavalo, Vereda do Tunnel do Cavalo. Vereda is like a little path kind of thing. We've seen the first few groups arriving, and this is the thing. Nowadays, when people hear of Levadas, they think about tourism. Even if you look online and looking for stuff, the majority of the things you're going to find is about tourism. And yeah, so we're going to double check a few facts here. So first of all, it was construction began in 1863 until 1877. So it was 1800s. I wasn't sure exactly when. It talks about as well to the supply for hydroelectric power plants. So supply for power and for the consumption by the population for the irrigation of agricultural land. And yeah, we've got a few more people here. We can see this is a very, very, very popular Levada. So if you come here, you want to get here as early as possible to beat the crowds. There's other ways to do it. Again, all things you can find on our channel and all things that you can, talk to us about, which we'll get into later. So let's keep moving. So now we're in a residential area and you can see this little Levada here is flowing. It's not always flowing, right? Because there's actually people that control where the water goes. So once this place has had their water, then the water will be diverted somewhere else. Again, this is a topic for a whole nother video. There's, how people water and all of that stuff. And, maybe one day we'll bring that out. But we can see here that there's a little sluice gate kind of thing, a gate. And what people would do is they take this gate out, block the Levada and direct the water into their land. Once it's been irrigated, then they unblock it. Right, nowadays the farmers pay a tax for this service and it's very small tax kind of thing, and they get certain times and it's all regulated and things like that. So yeah, that's what that is. All right, and we're gonna get moving. It's getting warm. It's a beautiful warm day on the southwest of Madeira in Caleta, and yes, time to leave this place. And here we are, the power station in Caleta. Believe it or not, it's my first time here, so I had to check Google Maps, and luckily got us to the right place. But yeah, pretty cool to see the Levada really flowing. You hear the turbines moving, and just a really cool little structure. I love these kinds of structures. One of my favorite power plants is in Fayal, and I love to go there because it's an off-road to get there on a Jeep, and it's a really cool road, and it's just cool to see all the machinery and stuff like that. So one of my secret weapons that when I got the Jeep, but today, because we don't have the Jeep, cool to know that we can get here by the van, and pretty cool little place. So that's power, agriculture. We've still got one more to talk about, but before that we're gonna get some food in our stomachs. So yeah, Andre, you excited?
Yeah.
There's some new things there.
I can guess where are we going.
You can guess, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we get.
And I bet people know.
You bet people know.
Well.
Yeah, I mean, it's my favorite coffee shop on the island. So yeah, follow me. So for those of you who may be in the loop, I'm developing a new product, and when you take your tour and your tour guide takes photos of you and he says he's going to email them to you, and he only emails them to you like 4 months later, and by then the moment has passed and you're no longer, you've already posted everything on Instagram and stuff, so you don't really need new photos, and then it's like, oh yeah, we went to Madeira like 3 months ago. Well, imagine if by the time you got back to your hotel, you were food in your stomach, you've seen this amazing sunrise, and you've already got edited photos in your phone that you can post onto the gram right there. And the great thing is you can actually, watch me edit them. So if you don't like the way I edit, you can just change it now while we're having, breakfast. This is one of their latest additions, choc chili latte. If I'm not mistaken, she's going for a hot chocolate as guest. And I don't know what this is, Andrea. Why not? I've actually seen this in the supermarket.
It's a soda, cola flavor, but it's not cola.
Okay. All right,
so it's
cool.
healthier.
All of it smells amazing. Ooh, it is spicy. I do like it. I love the chocolate. It's chocolate. I mean, who doesn't like chocolate? But I did prefer the condensed milk. There it is, ice latte. Condensed milk, cold brew, ice latte. It's the bomb. This is called the breakfast stack, and it's a beef burger with an egg and a salad. So I think, you know, no bread, but there's loads of sugar in here. So I'm gonna have to work out like crazy today, and we're gonna try and make it to the gym. Let's see. I think we're doing good time. If we can leave you in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Let's go, let's eat. Minutes. Let's eat. We're back on the south coast, and as most of you already know, that the Madeiran weather in the south, there's less rain than in the north. So that's why these levadas were built. Levada comes from the word levar, which is a Portuguese word to say, you know, taken or washed away. A água foi levada, the water was washed down, and it's because the water slowly washed down the hill. And we're back in Funchal, and even in this urban setting, you can tell that there is levadas coming out to the banana plantations, so it's still being used today. Now we have run out a little bit of time. You know, we've all got things to do, and maybe it was a little bit ambitious of us to think that we could film a whole video on the Levadas of Madeira in a couple of hours, but I believe that we've come to a nice little conclusion. So we're at Levada dos Piornais, which is also a nice little levada to do inside of Funchal, in the west of Funchal, and you can find all sorts of information on that online. And I got one more very important thing to tell you guys before we wrap up this video. So come with me to see the final ending about the Levadas of Madeira. This is one of my favorite monuments in the whole of Funchal. All right, this is the Hanging Angel. I've seen a couple. I actually went and did some research to find out exactly the name of this angel. This is the Assicom angel, all right, or the Praça de Assicom is this little area. And Assicom, I believe it's a very strange name, I know. I think it's because of the association of construction, something to that degree. What I wanted to speak about here is about the people who built the Levadas. These people are called rocheiros, which, to be honest, I had no idea. Also found out yesterday. Rocheiro usually had a very dangerous job, right? Perched on the side of the mountain in a wicker basket, carving out the Levadas out of the mountain. The first Levadas were built out of the basalt in the mountain, all right? Not like today's that are made of concrete. And a lot of these were in very dangerous areas, and also with the tunnels, lots of tunnels being built, and those had to be dug by hand, and they had to be used explosives to get that out. And unfortunately, many people died because it was a very dangerous profession. So they built this statue to commemorate all of these people. So I found this very interesting piece on the website for UNESCO, and I thought it actually really, it was just so beautiful that I want to read it to you. Building the Levadas demanded over almost 6 centuries arduous work, in which the great persistence of the Madeiran people in mastering nature stands out, extracting the flows of water from the least accessible locations and guiding them along extensive and winding stretches for kilometers, and inserting them seamlessly into the landscape as if they had always been part of the scenery, which is very cool. The special environmental and particular regional conditions require the construction of a majestic masterpiece, making it one of the most important Portuguese cultural assets of indisputable creative genius. I think that's really, really awesome. And basically what I wanted to say, whenever I see this angel, I think of our ancestors. I think of what our ancestors went through, in my case particularly, that left here for South Africa on a boat and things like that, into the unknown. But not only that, also all of the work that was done here in Madeira, on the island itself, by Madeirans, and we can never forget where we've come from. So that's that, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. All right, we try to cram a lot in here. If I missed something, I'm sorry. If you want to support this channel, check out our Patreon page. This is where we're going to be posting my new tours, and I've also got some brand new bonus stuff coming to Patreon that all of you can benefit from, and it's even going to be free. I don't want to let it out yet because I'm still planning it. It might be ready by the end of this video, but if not, then probably in next week's video you'll probably hear about it. And yeah, Andrea, what are you gonna go home and sleep?
Oh yes. Let's hit the road.
Let's hit the road.
That's a nice angel.
Let me get the Assicom, eh? Praça do Assicom. I think they could have been better, you know, better. Here it is. Associação da Indústria and Associação de Construção. So I think it's like a play on these words. And in Portuguese, what's written on the plaque over there says homenagem da Assicom a todos os que colaboraram no desenvolvimento do setor da construção civil e obras públicas nos últimos anos na região autónoma da Madeira. Hey? Not bad, huh? Not bad for a South African, right? Right, Andrea, let's get out of here, man.